hard truth. Every mom is not a mother, and every dad is not a father. And for those who have experienced an absent parent or the lack of nurturing and support that was needed for you to be raised during your childhood, then you understand why I state that statement. So, I want to say that this does not negate the effort and the work that is required to produce and raise a child. However, there is a difference between parenting that child and actually coasting with it, right? I've seen a lot of adults who have given up or have not really, maybe not even start, but have given up on the concept of parenting and have allowed children to raise themselves, right? Having them take on responsibility that is not theirs because the parent is unable to carry their weight. And I can understand that one, there is no rule book, guidebook for being a parent, nor is there a guidebook for being an adult on earth living this life. But it is our responsibility as parents when we choose to reproduce and create another life to be prepared to take on the responsibilities that comes with this life. You are agreeing to nurture their potential. You are agreeing to raise them to be the best person that they could be, right? Because you want to give them the things that maybe you were lacking inside of your childhood. And when you really digest that responsibility, then maybe more people would be intentional on deciding to reproduce, when to have children, who to have children with. Because when we don't nurture this aspect of us, when we don't prepare ourselves for parenthood, or get your ducks in order, I understand that things won't ever be perfect, right? Some things you can't mark the checklist, right? But when you become aware that either I'm preparing, like I'm intentionally ready to have a child, or I am having a child, then there is a level of responsibility and maturity that is required to understand, like, regardless of what happens, I know that I'm responsible for this child. And sometimes it is unfair, but as a mom, as the mother, you do have to carry more of the responsibility of nurturing that child because you are its first everything, right? You are the one providing its nurturing, your food, your breast milk, if you're breastfeeding or you're choosing to do formula, whatever, but you are that first form of nurturing and love and connection that child experience when they come into this earth. And even if you do have a partner, which is even better, but as the mom, even if we don't like gender roles, there is a certain level of influence that you have on that child. However, I'm not saying that the father is irrelevant as well. We can talk about what is the roles of each parent, right? Or defining them. What do they look like in general, as a parent, as a male, as a female, whatever. What are these roles and what are these responsibilities? So even going back to being a dad is not just someone who provides financially, like, hey, you get your child support check, or I make sure I buy this, like the house is there. But no, that child also needs your nurturing, right? It needs your guidance, it needs your love, it needs your attention, it needs the way that you maybe implement that discipline for them, right? Give them that structure to mold them in whatever way that may look like. So, because being a parent is not black or white, I cannot tell you if you are a mom or a mother or a dad or a father. It is up to you and your discernment and your integrity of knowing I show up for my child. I make sure I invest in them. I give them the attention they need. I ensure not only do they do their homework, but I go above and beyond and I sit down with them to help them with their homework because they're not in this alone, right? That they feel comfortable to come to me to ask for questions. I am a parent because I intentionally instill values in this individual that I think are important for them as they become an adult. Because sometimes once a child gets older, right, they become more independent. You have to do less of taking care of them necessarily, right? So we're not having to bathe them, we don't have to watch over them as much, but that does not take away the importance and the value of your presence with them and of your relationship with them, right? Just because my kid is in middle school or my kid is in high school, it does not mean that I stop being a parent. My kid still needs me. It may not be as hands-on. I may be able to have more of a life and breathe and all of that good stuff, but that does not mean that I just allow them to do whatever, go whatever, and just allow that to be, right? So that can look like no longer having family dinner together and everyone eats in their rooms, or everyone is always in their rooms on their phones, and there's never a real moment of family time, a real connection forming, because we live in a society where most of the time a child has is at school, and then they start to, have their friends, and maybe they have different hobbies and things. So then most of their time is spent outside, external factors, more friends, all of that. So the time that they do have with you, the time that you guys intentionally spend together, it it provides more value because it's not as much. So those times should be spent more intentional with each other. Like, I'm intentionally making sure that I take you out on a date because I want you to just I just want to keep nurturing our connection. I want you to feel safe to share anything with me. I want it to be able to provide guidance for you if you need it, but also just to treat you because I can do that. So whatever your values are, you want to continue to implement them not only in your parenting, but also within yourself, so that it's not far-fetched of like, how am I about to tell them to do this or teach them this when I'm not where I'm supposed to be? And just like the child is growing, so are you. So that's where that grace comes in. So again, parenting is not black or white, but if you are putting in the effort to be a parent, you're putting the effort to show up, and even putting in the effort into yourself so you're able to show up. So let me know, what is your perspective on what is a mother and what is a father? Because naturally we can all become a mom and a dad, right? We know how to do the deed, and it is a process to get them out, but you automatically become their mom or their dad. But you don't always become their mother or their father, right? Oh, that's my father, right? There's a level of respect. There's a level of knowing that you have that's my father. He was a father to me and not just a sperm donor. And that's my mother. That woman right there, that's it, right? Like, you just know it. You have a testimony on what it means to be a mother and what it is to be a father. So feel free to comment down below. What does it mean for you? What does those roles look like? And how do you feel, right? How do you feel as a parent? What do you wish you knew before having a child? Let's just start the conversation. And if you are preparing to have a child, whether you're pregnant or you are just like marinating on the idea of like, hey, I am going to reproduce soon, this is great things to prepare you, right? To really just start thinking about and considering, so that we are more intentional with our bodies, we're more intentional in who we lay with, we're more intentional in our life, because again, you're not here on accident, right? You're here for a reason. And when you produce that child, they're here for a reason too. And you want to do the best that you can do to prepare them for whatever their purpose is, whatever their destiny is. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things. I will continue to talk about the family dynamic, and we're just going to keep diving in. So stay tuned. Have a blessed one.